Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving deep today into something pretty big.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's this whole thing with Pete Hoekstra,
Right.
getting nominated as the U.S. ambassador to Canada.
Yeah, definitely a big deal.
Huge.
Yeah.
And we're basing all this on a Canadian press article. It just came out yesterday, November 20th, 2024.
Fresh news.
Super fresh. And I think we're going to find some really interesting stuff in here. Like, what's it all about?
Well, just the timing of it alone is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, like why now?
Right. I mean, to see this happen so early in the presidential transition, it really makes you think about the incoming administration's priorities. What's at the top of their list?
Exactly. Like, what are they trying to signal here? But, okay, let's back up a sec. For those who might not know, who is this Pete Hoekstra guy?
So Hoekstra, he's a bit of a known figure in U.S. politics. He was a congressman from Michigan for a while.
Okay, so he's been around the block.
He has. And then, get this, he was also the U.S. ambassador to the Netherlands.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, during Trump's first term.
Okay, so not a newbie to the whole diplomacy thing then.
Not at all. And that experience in the Netherlands, it's actually pretty relevant here.
How so?
Well, think about it. The Netherlands is deeply tied into the European Union.
Right.
So in that role, Hoekstra had to deal with all these intricate trade relationships
Oh, I see.
within a huge multilateral framework. Sound familiar?
Yeah, kind of like the U.S. and Canada, right?
Exactly. It's a crucial skill to have when dealing with U.S. Canada relations.
Makes sense. Now, something else that jumped out from the article, a lot of people seem pretty happy about this nomination.
Definitely a lot of positive buzz.
Like specifically, Louise Blaise. She's the former Canadian ambassador to the UN.
Big name.
Huge. And she seemed to think this early nomination was a good sign for the U.S. and Canada.
A vote of confidence. And Bruce Heyman, he was the U.S. ambassador to Canada under Obama.
Okay, another heavyweight.
Totally. And he agreed with Blaise. Like, this is good news.
So both of them seem to think Hoekstra's the right guy for the job.
Yeah, his experience, his understanding of Canada, they were impressed.
What is it about his background that makes him such a good fit, though?
Well, both Blaise and Heyman, they pointed to his Dutch heritage.
It's interesting.
Right. And the fact that he represented a district in Michigan that actually borders Canada.
Oh, so he's got that firsthand knowledge.
Yeah, they think that gives him a real advantage. Like, he gets the nuances of the relationship.
It's amazing how much personal background matters in diplomacy,
Yeah,
right?
it's huge. But of course, it's not just about having experience and understanding.
Right. There's got to be more to it than that.
It's like, imagine a chess grandmaster. Right. Always thinking several moves ahead.
Strategizing.
Exactly. An effective ambassador, they need that deep understanding of both countries' political landscapes, gotta build trust, and finesse those tricky issues.
It's like you think of someone like Dwight Eisenhower,
Oh,
right?
yeah, perfect example.
Instrumental in solidifying those NATO alliances after World War II.
Huge.
And his ability to build trust, it was everything.
Totally. But hey, let's shift gears for a second.
Okay, where are we going?
We can't ignore Trump's statement that came out with the nomination, right?
True.
He was really hammering that America First approach.
Especially on trade and the USMCA.
Yeah, that was front and center.
It's interesting, though, how that America First thing might actually play out in U.S.-Canada relations. What do you think?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, this kind of rhetoric, it has echoes of those protectionist policies from way back early 20th century. And ironically, that's what led to more trade tensions with Canada.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it could definitely create some friction, especially on trade and things like climate change.
Especially because Trump very specifically said that the USMCA was designed to replace NAFTA,
Right.
or level the playing field.
Yeah.
So what are the main differences between those two, and what does this all mean for trade between the U.S. and Canada moving forward?
So you're probably wondering, what sets the USMCA apart from NAFTA?
Yeah, what's the big deal?
Well, it did try to update those trade rules, but there are some pretty significant changes.
Like what?
One big one is the focus on digital trade and intellectual property,
Oh, okay.
areas where the U.S. has, a strong interest.
I see. And how does this whole level playing field idea fit into all of this?
Level playing field, it's a phrase that pops up all the time in these trade talks.
Right.
It's basically about making sure everyone's competing fairly.
Makes sense.
But the thing is, what one country sees as level might not be the same for another.
Oh, so there's room for disagreement there.
Totally. Could lead to some real clashes.
And under this new agreement, there's potential for both good and bad.
Exactly. And, some sectors are going to be more sensitive than others.
Like what?
Dairy and agriculture, those are always hot topics. Could be some real points of contention there.
It sounds like Hoekstra's stepping into a pretty complicated situation.
Oh, he's got a lot on his plate. The USMCA is still new, and this whole America First approach, it's a big shadow looming over everything.
Definitely a pivotal moment. It's like we're setting the stage for some high-stakes diplomatic drama. We're all just waiting to see how the plot unfolds.
And it's not just trade we should be watching. Climate change, energy cooperation, these are also going to be key areas where Huckster's approach could really make a difference, especially with the America First agenda potentially shaping his decisions.
That's such a good point. It really makes you think. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to ponder, folks. Given his background, in the whole current political climate, how do you think Hoekstra's approach to these big issues like climate change or energy cooperation will be different from how things were done before? And what kind of ripple effects will that have on both the U.S. and Canada? Keep digging into this topic, see where your own deep dive takes you. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for more deep dives coming your way.
See you next time.